do that. Okay. Anyway, Facebook Live, YouTube is now running. Had that correct. Couple clicks here. Again, good morning to you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Wncr-Tv Now as we talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. I do apologize. I did go to the city council meeting on yesterday, but I did not get the opportunity to mention whether or not the city would continue their projects related to what? related to the number of projects they started and complete. One thing that had made me not think about it at the time was when Commissioner Robbie Davis came in and spoke about House Bill 332, which we talked about a number of times. And in my reading of the bill, I did not, let me see, NC House Bill 332. I did not catch that, and I guess I was so caught up in Rocky Mount's situation that I did not catch the issue that's in House Bill 332. So let me go to that real quick, put it on the screen here. Hey, remember this bill, a recap, what we talked about before. House Bill 332 is a bill that deals with Nash County and Rocky Mount occupancy tax. And so we talked about the hotel tax, this and third. And so it talks about the changes and so what it's going to do. And the Nash County Board of Commissioners may levy a room tax of 3% of gross receipts derived from the rental and accommodations within the county that is subject to sales tax imposed by the state under General Statute 105, 164.4A3. The administration talks about that, then the distribution of tax revenues. Well, what he brought out yesterday was Section 2. I don't know if he said the section, but I did go look at it while he was talking yesterday at the City Council chambers. And it says Tourism Development Authority. And so Section 2, then item A, says appointment and memberships. When the Board of Commissioners adopts a resolution levying room occupancy tax under this act, it shall also adopt a resolution creating a county tourism development authority, which shall be a public authority under the Local Government Budget and Fiscal Control Act. The resolution shall provide for the membership of the authority, including the members' terms of office, and for the filing of vacancies on the authority. At least 1/3 of the members must be individuals who are affiliated with the business that collects the tax in the county, and at least 1/2 of the members must be individuals who are currently active in the promotion of tourism in the county. No elected official may serve as a member of the board. The Board of Commissioners shall designate one member of the authority as a chair and shall determine its compensation. What was I reading yesterday? No, it does give them the authority to continue to do that. No, that's still there. So no, that is still, the county still has the authority to do that. So but I thought I read something. Nope, that's it. And maybe I read it yesterday in the City Council chambers under the thought process of what Commissioner Davis said was in fact true. But now in reading this again, I don't draw that conclusion. Appointment to membership. When the Board of Commissioners adopt a resolution levying a room tax under this act, it shall also adopt a resolution creating a county tourism development authority. So who is they creating a county tourism area? It would be the county commissioners, right? Which shall be a public authority under the Local Budget and Fiscal Control Act. It says the resolution shall provide for shall provide for the membership of the authority. So I guess where it says shall provide for the Board of Commissioners to appoint the membership, it is the resolution shall provide for the membership of the authority, including the members' term of office. So yeah, I see what the confusion is next, and maybe that's how I read it yesterday, because there was a strike through. If you see it on your screen, there's a strike through of saying the Board of Commissioners to appoint, and so the Board of Commissioners, in the instance of this law, as a modification of the existing law, would not be appointing membership to the authority when this is changed, because there's already membership to the authority, right? So the appointment authority has not shifted. Yeah. So I think that's what I was probably reading into because of the strike through of the Board of Commissioners. But then in reading it, without taking consideration of the Board of Commissioners, we go back to the appointment membership. When the Board of Commissioners adopt a resolution, so who has the authority to adopt a resolution? The Board of Commissioners. Levying a room tax under this act, it shall also adopt a resolution creating a tourism authority, which shall be a public authority under the Local Government Control Fiscal Act. The resolution shall provide for the membership authority. So the resolution is going to say what the qualifications are to be the membership authority. And they may have to go kind of update their membership authority or resolution for sure. So again, shall provide for the membership authority and for filling the vacancies on the authority. So the resolution is going to say when there's a vacancy on the authority, the county commissioners, obviously, because they're going to write the resolution, how they will go about filling the vacancy on the authority. So no, that is still yet in the bill. That's no change. Now the only concern, of course, the other concern he addressed last night was that no elected official may serve, and that's right here. No elected official shall serve as a member of the authority, and so that is the situation there. And of course, it creates the Rocky Mount occupancy tax District R. It says the Rocky Mount District R created. The Rocky Mount District R is created as a taxing authority. Its jurisdiction consists of only the part of Rocky Mount that's located within Nash County. Rocky Mount District R is a public and corporate, is a body of public and corporate, and has the power to carry out the provisions of this part. The city council shall serve as ex officio as the governing body of the district. The officers of the city shall serve as the officer of the governing body of the district, a simple majority. So that's basically saying, hey, that taxing authority will report to the city council, similar to the that taxing authority reports to Nash County. So there is oversight in both. Again, my quick read last night led me to believe that they appoint themselves and feel of their own selves, but actuality, that is not true based on my undisturbed reading of it today. So in Rocky Mount, where is it at? There it is. The Tourism Local Authority, it says appointment and membership. When the governing body of Rocky Mount District R adopts a resolution levying a room occupancy tax under this part, it shall also adopt a resolution creating a District Tourism Development Authority, which has the public authority under the Local Government Control Fiscal Act. The resolution shall provide for the membership of the authority, include the members of terms of office or filling the vacancies of the authority. At least 1/3 of the members shall be individuals who are affiliated with the business that collects. And so this essentially reads verbatim as the Nash County one is. And so, they definitely, the council in the Rocky Mount sense and the commissioners in Nash County would in fact be the ones who make the appointment to that particular organization. And it does not set forth a limit as to how many people will be on the authority. I think Nash County has 14, but you do have to keep in consideration the percentage of people that must be on it, because we'll read that. And it says at least 1/3 of members shall be individuals who are affiliated with a business that collects tax in the district. At least 1/2 of the members shall be individuals who are currently active in promotion of travel and tourism in the district. No elected official may serve on the authority. The governing body of District R shall designate one member of the authority as a chair and shall determine the compensation, if any, to be paid to members of the authority. So not only would the city council appoint the membership, the city council would also designate who would be the chair of the individual, of the district as well. And that is similar to what Nash County do over there as well. So no, they're actually identical. They're identical, and identical in the tax rate they're collecting is identical in everything. So So that's that. And that came up because today that bill is slated to go before the House for its third and final reading, and then it will be then sent over to the Senate. And technically, and the next time the Senate meets, they can read the thing 3 times, and it will then become an engrossed bill, then to be sent to the governor for signature. Or no, I don't think governor signed local bills. I can't remember, but it is designated as a local bill, and so you'll see that as highlighted there. This is a local bill that has some special rules consideration within both the House and the Senate. Is how that process works as well. So there you go. So we talked about that bill a lot. I think ultimately it did come, in my opinion, to a better bill with the work of whomever had been working on it. Obviously, we know Alan Chesser, along with Shelley Willingham, are the co-sponsors of the bill. And so we do know that that's what we've got going on there. Okay. Caller, good morning, on the air.
Mr. Bronson, good morning.
Good morning.
If Mr. Daniels have found ways not to increase the property taxes, why don't they just go with him? Didn't they hire him to make decisions like that?
They did. I don't know why they opted to. Well, I do know why, because again, they said, hey, it's not going to restore the fund balance to a level that's even at 8%. And so there's going to need some additional revenue. Now, do you need the whole 4%? No. And again, he's only anticipating perhaps bringing over 1.5 million. It's not a guarantee, at the end of the thing. So that is their rhyme and reason as to why they are wanting to increase the tax rate. But again, they don't have to do 4%. I think to accomplish that, they could probably do 1 or 1.5 cents, or they don't want like do half cents. They could do just 1 cent, and that would give additional $600,000, which will cover the shortfall. But again, if you did 2 cents, then you'll have some sure guaranteed $1.2 million. That could definitely go to fund balance. But again, I will say this, that a tax increase, if any, could only happen in one cycle. We know most of the time cities and counties have a hard time reducing a tax rate. I don't know why, but they do. But it could be, it could be a tax rate increase this budget cycle and a tax rate decrease the following year. It doesn't have to stay at that rate.
Okay. And my other question is, if they're so gung-ho with money, what happened to the COVID money? Doesn't that supposed to go towards things that support the citizens within a city or township?
I'm gonna see if I can find a video from, or the part in the video rather, where Ken Hunter was about to explain what happened to the COVID money, and then it would say, well, just give me the number as to what's left of it. I think it was somewhere around $500,000 or $700,000. So that money has been expensed all but between $500,000 and $700,000 based on Ken Hunter.
But what was it spent for?
What he was beginning to say was that $10 million was spent on revenue replacement. So the city could say, this is the amount of revenue we believe we lost. And so they believe in one cycle, or maybe over a period of time, they lost X number of millions of dollars in revenue. And so therefore they're able to recover it. Now I will say this, the question would be, where did they lose that revenue at? And did they offset anything to say, because otherwise, if you say we lost the revenue here because it wasn't collected, I don't know what they're going to say or how they say it, but let's just say it was a collection base. Because they billed for something, didn't get it, that's loss of revenue because the people couldn't afford to pay it, whether it be a utility bill, whether it be whatever. Or they're saying that the anticipated growth we would have had, we lost that revenue because the city did not experience the same level of growth it would have, And so therefore we're trying to cover that. Now, what the justification was, I have no earthly idea, but I do know that Ken Hunter was about to say that $10 million was revenue replacement. I know they spent probably $1 million or so with the employee bonuses during that time as well through the COVID money.
Okay, well, I feel when you get money like that, it should be set aside for one particular thing or two, and each one should have their own purpose of line items, and then you'll be able to account for where money is going. It's just like with any other revenue that the city have coming in. How can you put it all in one pot and expect to keep a track of where it's going? I don't think it's fair. And that's how you get into this entanglement of shortfalls. Mm-hmm. And I don't like that. And the other thing, like I said, these projects that has been announced to the public, like the investors that's coming downtown. Well, what's going on with that? That project was supposed to start in a couple of months ago.
Mm-hmm. You're talking about the Coca-Cola plant or whatever it was, the housing projects.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody talks to you, but instead of putting things on your plate, and they continuously to do things wrong, and then want the citizens to pick up the slack. And these 3 restaurants that's coming in, they're going to give them $50,000 each.
Yeah, I think that's kind of interesting because you've got taxpayer money at $50,000 each for each restaurant. It's 100% forgivable over 5 years, meaning they maintain or meet whatever, and then that's forgiven.
And then they say, and then they have a stipulation in the contract, they have to be open on weekends. Why? When there's no traffic downtown.
I think they referred to they have to be open when the event center is open. Because I think
okay.
Councilman T.J. Walker raised the question, well, what is the recourse if they're not open? And Peter Varney said, well, if you find them not to be open on the time that the event center is open, then it will stop their forgivable portion for the rest of because they're in default. Now, that's going to be interesting because now that you mentioned that point, there are many times where the event center is open. And what they define open, is it open
for events or just open?
Right. That's what I'm trying to figure out now, because there are late night events that happen at the event center from people having different banquets and things of that nature. So I haven't seen the contract, so I really don't know what they look like. But now I want to know how they define open. Is it open because the event center don't do events? They're all rented spaces, whether it be basketball tournaments or whatever. So again, that raises now an interesting question as to how do they define what open is? Is it open when there's tournaments and larger groups? Is it open because, again, a banquet having at the event center, I don't think a restaurant should be open because they're eating food anyway, right?
Thank you.
So that wouldn't make sense. Now, if there's a tournament, I get it. But the banquet, I wouldn't. But at the same point, I don't even see why 100% would be forgivable. It seems to me that maybe 50% forgivable. And I get it. They're going to justify it, say, hey, we're going to give $150. They're putting that $550,000 into the situation. I get all that. But sometimes I think you give way more than what's necessary to give in that situation. But again, I think you are now putting an undue burden on those individuals as well to have to be open when the event center is open if there's no true definition as to what it is. And all it would probably take is one individual to have a video camera to say, here's the event center open, here's it closed. You said on this day that they're not open, they got to stop repaying the money.
Mm-hmm. And then why do they have to show their financial statements as their profits and loss if these other nonprofits don't show theirs?
Well, now they're nonprofits, and these are for-profit businesses.
They're not nonprofits, right. But yet and still, they don't ask them to show anything. They just automatically give each year.
Yeah, so you assume that the nonprofits are doing it for the betterment of the community, and you assume a for-profit is doing it for, again, profit, and so they are trying to justify that they are going to be spending or investing this amount of money, having this much type of revenue coming in, so they should be able to pay their light bill, they should be able to pay whatever, and so therefore it's going to add some solvency to the business. So they want to be able to track that, hey, you can probably be around, at least the 5 years that the loan is forgivable.
But my question here again is, if they're not making a profit, what then?
They go out of business. They would go out of business, and so. But then I guess they're personally guaranteeing the thing, and it's a, these are the type of things. And then the other question was, I don't know, I didn't see all of it, but where is the money coming from? Is it coming from fund balance? Is it coming from the general fund somehow through property tax? Where are they getting the $150,000 from to fund these individuals?
See, that's what I'm talking about. We continuously to pay for somebody else, and that's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand the other grants that they have downtown that they assist, commercial businesses with, but this, I don't get it. And I just feel that some more clarity needs to be brought into this, because they're asking us to fund a restaurant that we don't even have shares in.
Yeah. Again, if it was a 50% match grant, I get it, but 100% match is interesting, because and then where does it stop at? I have no earthly idea. Again, that's something that they vote on. Again, and then they're going to be, well, we're going to blame this now previous administration for this money being spent, and we didn't have it, and the restaurant's still closed. And yeah, I think sometimes they do things without rhyme or reason. But again, they did it first with one restaurant. And so now when you open up the gate for one, then others say, well, they did it, we should be able to do it too. And so now one became now a total of 4.
Well, the mayor kind of ticked me off last night.
Okay.
When he extended Robert Davis' time to speak. Now, when I go up there, what I got to say is just as important as what Robert Davis got to say. And he cut your tail off in a heartbeat. I did not like it, and I hope and pray that he doesn't do it again.
Now, to be fair, he did not only do it for Robbie Davis, but he did it for somebody else as well. I don't remember who that was, but I remember him saying, go ahead. So I think maybe last night he was just feeling generous.
Yeah, he did say it for the lady. I know who you're talking about, was the lady. He did, but I don't like it. If you got a rule, you need to stick with it.
That's interesting. Yeah. Now, I will say that the extension of time, as you saw on full display last night, is up to the mayor. So he could cut off the public comment period and move it to the back. And so that whole section, one of the very few powers that the mayor has is that. So, but I hear you for sure.
Well, one other question I have. What is coming there where Prime used to be?
That's another restaurant that they're giving a whole bunch of stuff to. I forgot, but that's one too.
Oh,
that's another one. I forgot what it is, but of course that's a city-owned building, and they are working out an agreement with whoever's going over there. I forgot, but they talked about it in some meeting not too long ago, and it came about, what equipment belongs to the city if you buy it type situation and all that kind of stuff. So that's another one, and that building. When Prime first went there, I think the city invested somewhere between $700,000 to $1 million in that building.
They had to, yeah.
I know they did. So, but I don't know exactly where it was, but it was around that cost. And so they didn't have that, and so now they got to go back and reinvest some more money. And again, where did that money come from? I have no idea. So when individuals sit on council and say previous administration did this. No, the council did that.
Thank you.
That is the reality of all of the mishaps, and they'll take the success stories, but they won't take the shortfalls. And I think an example of true leadership is it'll emulate both. I'm gonna own it when I'm wrong, and I'm gonna own it when I'm right.
I understand what you're saying. Well, this social district. Mm-hmm. Where do you think it should be?
That's something we're working on for quite some time, and believing that it's going to help downtown. It's supposed to be downtown, I thought, somewhere downtown. I have no earthly idea, and I know they kind of paused the conversation as had more time to look at that. And I will say that again, that was something that was talked about. I want to say while City Manager Rochelle Small-Tony was as a manager, so that's been prior to 2021, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, the idea of having open containers in the downtown social district area.
And they should, if they are the city on the rise and they are trying to mimic off other cities. That's one of the things that, in the more metropolitan areas have, and it will bring traffic downtown. But nevertheless, that's what I took from the meeting last night. I really didn't get into the committee of the whole. I don't know what was going on with that yesterday, because it definitely didn't come on at 4 o'clock.
It did not. It did not indeed.
And I'm like, what is going on? And I took about 3 or 4 naps. I'm going to tell you the truth. Somebody called me and said, don't forget the meeting. I said, I have, but I don't know what's going on. And then, as I complain all the time, why don't that person that's in charge of that technology start stuff at the right time? It's just a delay. It just does not make any sense.
With the meeting start?
Like YouTube. You be waiting around for stuff to come on. They be into the meeting when it finally comes on the TV and you don't miss something. It just don't make sense. I think
I think yesterday, I think they opened up the meeting and immediately went into closed session. As to why it did not come on. But again, what should have happened is the time the meeting started, it should have came on with them making a motion to go into closed session.
Yeah. Sometimes all of that's over with. You're like, well, what did I miss?
Right. Or they could put up a graphic and say the meeting started, city council's in closed session, we'll resume when they gavel back in, right? So at least you know that it's not a technical difficulty, but it's actual whatever going on.
Well, yesterday, I know everybody was waiting for it to come on, and everybody just called them like, I have no earthly idea. I just can't keep up with Rock Mountain and some of the stuff that they do. And I know my time has expired, so somebody else can call in, but, I just picked up those things last night from the meeting, and I definitely want to know more about that corporate money because nobody's talking about it.
Yeah, it's $11 million, and it's almost gone. Thank you.
Thank you.
252-407-8432, and I wish I could find the part, but I do think it was this particular. Maybe it was not work session 3. Might have been work session 2. I would have to go find it, and because Ken he sits in the same spot every time, so it's hard to say that he was sitting here. And I really don't remember what came about for him to have to respond to the COVID question. And I'm trying to, so I don't think it was the day. I want to say it was the day that both, was the day that both Richard and then was there. Anyway, I'll try to find it. Let me say good morning to those who have tuned in this morning. That includes Gwendolyn Johnson, Allison Williams, Donovan Williams, Candy Staten, Venice Harris, Gloria Brake, Gwendolyn Swain, Deborah Manning, Irma Maxwell, James Bullock, Betty Archambault, and Deborah Gunter. Good morning to all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Wncr-Tv Now. Another thing that happened last night was the public comment period dealing with the budget, as the previous caller was talking about. And I will say that of all the speakers who spoke on last night, only one speaker was in favor of the city increasing its property tax rate. And again, as I have said on these airways and have said even last night, that I think that the best budget was the budget that was initially prepared by our city manager that represented no increase in property taxes and represented a $1.5 million return to the fund balance, and a delay on capital improvement projects, again, for a 12-month cycle. However, there is some other capital projects that still are being done. It's just the ones such as the parks and things of that nature would be removed from this year's budget in order to get back close to at least an 8% fund balance amount. And so we'll see and of course, now the revised budget is a 4-cent tax hike, which will move our tax rate from 58 cent to 62 cent or 63, whatever it is. And so I was right first time. So so that's what will happen there if approved. But again, many people were talking about the increased cost to our aging population who are on fixed incomes, whose monies just not arbitrarily go up because the city decides that it needs more money for revenue replacement, or should I say fund balance replacement, because maybe not revenue replacement, fund balance replacement. But again, I also understand the very important need to recover fund balance, at least to what is an acceptable baseline for many municipalities and townships and counties across our state. So they do need to get that together in order to maintain their credit ratings that they have, in order to stay off the LGC's watch list and things of that nature. So there is a necessity there to do that. And again, they won't find out what the actual fund balance amount is until the audit is complete for this year, or this current budget, which they're hoping to have it completed by October of this year, the normal time in which it used to be required. However, it is extended to December now to get your audits in. So hopefully all of that will go well. But city manager's goal is said that he wants to have the audit completed by the original time, which was October versus December, and certainly not as late as they've just now did it in this particular cycle. So that's that. But we'll see what ultimately happens with the budget. Again, the budget right now calls for $1.8 million going towards merit pay, $600,000 towards COLA. And many people on last evening, in fact, let me see if I can play a video of some folk from last night's meeting as it relates to their thoughts on the budget. If we can find it here. Oh, and then of course it took off the eminent domain piece as well. So that was not there. Now I thought the gentleman who spoke, and I agree with his 2% compromise there on last evening. So this is this gentleman who spoke from a wheelchair on last night.
To boss, I live in the city.
I must ask when multiple increases is enough. Power, water and sewer, county property tax, and now an extreme proposed city property tax hike. 3 of 4 this council has control of. When is enough? Enough. As a council you have a tough job to balance the budget. A 2-cent property tax increase would be a compromise. No capital projects should be approved given the tight budget. All the increase in city tax should be used to restore the unassigned fund balance. Much talk has been focused on the growth of the city, but no discussion has been on increasing the fees for new homes. 3 benefits to consider. 1. Increase revenue. 2. Increase property values. 3. More home remodels and repairs. I have no problem with the cost of living increase given the increases in prices. Any merit increase should follow past trends. The city must take care of employees and reward their hard work. 2 cents is enough of a property tax increase.
So those are his comments on yesterday. That he believed that 2 cent was sufficient. 2 cent property tax increase would, on average, give the city about $1.2 million. Will it do what it needs to do? Maybe not, but it'll get closer than what no increase did.
Thank you very much for allowing me to speak tonight. I am here in opposition to the proposed property tax increase, the 4 cents property tax increase. And I know there's a lot of fluidity with this revised budget that's been going around. So I'm going to speak to what the last version that I saw, which was one that was proposed for a 4 cent increase in taxes, property taxes, to raise $2.4 million, which happens to be the same amount that is being asked for cost of living raises, raises for the city employees who work very hard for what they're doing. But I do not think, and I concur with another speaker who just spoke here about seniors and on fixed income and having to pay taxes. We just went through a huge reassessment and paid a lot last year for taxes. And to come back and ask for homeowners to pay again 4 cents additional to give raises to city employees, well deserved. I think the council should go back to what the city manager put in his proposal. And he said to delay those cost of living increases until the middle of next year, to January, so he can see if this budget will be able to handle it. That's a physically sound and responsible avenue for this council to take, rather than to try to give a cost of living increase to city employees that you're going to then take right back. Because many of those people are homeowners. They're also residents here. So the other increases that you're forcing, you're giving with one hand and taking it back with the other. And that's not right. It's a PR thing for the council, but it's not good for us who are out here. The other thing I want to speak on is the utility rate increase that you guys are considering. That utility rate increase, I believe, should go to businesses first and come to homeowners second. You're already hitting us with increases in water, sewer, and environmental services. Your flyer here says it's $2.25 increased monthly solid waste. That's incorrect. And I want the council to be more transparent, because the full cost of it, as I see in the budget that was presented by the city manager, it's $7.25 a month when you add all of the fees in there. So that is an incorrect amount. I would ask that this council be more transparent with the residents about what you're doing with this budget before it is passed, before the final vote on June 23rd. I would also like to ask that, I guess my time is up, but I'm going to conclude right now, because I want more transparency and some clarification about this property tax rate, because it is wrong for you to do that to us 2 years in a row. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jennings. Is there any other member?
So we found the one who he did extend some additional time to as well. That was accidental, but there it is there as well. So he was mindful of people getting their points across on last night. So again, you talk about 1.8 million plus 600,000 is $2.4 million. What the proposed tax rate increase is with a 4% tax increase, and then of course there was additional $900,000 that was again found to further trim the budget. So the next city council meeting is when they will be voting on that matter. Not that, yeah, supposed to be the budget for the. Now, I thought about when I said next city council meeting, I want to go back to when Mr. Otis Jordan spoke on yesterday. He was called up to speak. We're not going to play his speech, but we're going to play what the mayor said prior to that, because I'm kind of was lost by something that was said last night. So listen to this as well. We'll wait for him to kind of come up, but he was wondering why he was being called up, and because he signed in, and of course he was calling in regards, not calling, but he was there for the city council's main process.
Are you inviting me because I did the sign-in sheet?
I'm sorry?
Are you inviting me to the podium?
Yes, sir, I am,
for
because you've signed a sheet, and it's to discuss eminent domain, which is not actually a public hearing matter, but it is an item on our agenda. We did postpone item 13A, as it relates until the next meeting, but then item 13B is still on the agenda. Is that helpful?
Yes. Well, that's the purpose for me coming here and signing in was because of item A, I think it was.
Okay, item A has been postponed, but you still have 3 minutes if you care to speak to the matter.
Now, again, I think I must have missed them dealing with item B on last night, 13B. Let me go towards the end of the meeting. As he said, the item A was postponed into the next meeting, which would be the fourth Monday at 4. And then that item 13B was still on the table.
Brings us to item number 12, which is consideration
This
of
item
purchase
12. Let me
agreement
see
with
what
the
happens
estate
here.
of Mildred
Maybe they
Cattle
did do
for
it.
the
I don't
property
remember.
located at 326 Albemarle Avenue. This time, I'll receive a motion to approve the purchase agreement and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute the purchase agreement and other documents related to the purchase of the property on behalf of the city. Motion made by Councilman Joyner. Is there a second by Councilman Harris? Is there a need for further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Item carries. Item 13A, if you recall, we have postponed until the next scheduled city council meeting. That brings us to item 13B, which is a resolution exercising the power of eminent domain to acquire certain interests in the following real property: 103 Atlantic Avenue and 111 Atlantic Avenue. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Blackwell, seconded by Councilman Joyner. Is there a need for discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Item 14 is...
So that is. So I must have been, during the time I was reading the general statute related to 332 in regards to TDA. So they did enact the eminent domain for 13B. So that does let you know the city ain't playing with you. Okay. And so that is the property there that is near where Taste of Paradise used to be. So it is that convenience store that is there, along with the most recently, I think it was a car lot there. So those two structures, or those two parcels, are properties that the city voted and passed a resolution on last night to initiate the eminent domain process. And what eminent domain, and we went over that yesterday, so I guess I'm not going to regurgitate it verbatimly, but what the eminent domain process gets to, the goal of an eminent domain process is to get to the fair market value of a particular parcel of land. And so it does not say that you're going to be taken advantage of. It just simply says that you must be fairly compensated for the property in which you own. And sometimes people have a different view on what is fair and desirability. You can desire $2 million for a piece of property all day long, and the fair market value would dictate that it's not worth $2 million. And so government cannot, should not be in the business of overpaying for things. Neither really should individuals. However, an individual has his or her own right to overpay for things, but because you may have overpaid for something does not constitute the fact that you're going to recover all that you lost basically in a purchase that was just overinflated. So it's important that one do the due diligence, take emotions out of situations when they're going to negotiate deals, so they're not placed in a situation in which they are just upside down. Oftentimes vehicle purchases are like that, where people just want a particular car. The car ain't worth nothing. It's going to lose value almost instantaneously. And now you find yourself in negative equity on a vehicle. And then when you're trying to refinance bad debt, you find yourself being in a harsher situation moving forward. So again, 13B, they did it. So we'll see how long the eminent domain process works and when the city will actually take possession of that particular piece of property or both parcels. Hey, caller, good morning.
Mr. Bronson, if they're going to take those parcels that's right there on the front of Atlantic Avenue, why didn't they deal with that man with all them cars? I guess he's a mechanic or something over there. That's where all them rats coming from, too. So
I think that land is purchased or a negotiated purchase. I think it may be on the way for that, or either he agreed to sell or something of that nature. So yeah, all that's gonna be gone.
Okay, good, because I'm fed up with that all that junk.
Yeah, I think that's on the way.
And code enforcement should have done something years ago, but they didn't. Like I said, why do we have code enforcement? Because I don't see them doing anything. But I was just curious why they did not include that parcel. But you said they did, and I'll be glad when they tear everything down. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep, that's my understanding is that whole area is being purchased. And as I said the other day, rumor has it that is going to be the new location of the Judicial Center for Rocky Mount. And they've been talking about that for years. I can see eminent domain working in that place because we know directly what that project is. A judicial center would serve a public purpose, and I would see the courts affirming that the courts serve a public purpose. And so I think they would probably have no issue with enforcing eminent domain on those particular properties. I don't know what the city's thought process is as it relates to the other parcels that was in Group A. I don't know if that's why they are going back and trying to renegotiate, is what the mayor said on last night, because I have not heard of any public use project that they have consideration of that they made publicly aware about anything that's going there that would be a public use project. So I do know that site some years ago, when they were dealing with how to get a parking deck and a hotel and things downtown, that particular site, I think, and I said that doing these plans, we're just talking out loud of what was cited there before. What was cited there before was some condos and some houses, and I want to say a water park or something, but is what I think was cited on that piece of land some years ago. And then, a hotel was cited where the church is on the corner of Atlantic Avenue, but they can't tear that church down because it's a historic church, they come to find out. So that's there. So I don't know, again, what a plan is for that. Glad to hear at the committee meeting, I think yesterday, that it was said there's dollars associated in the budget to continue the comprehensive plan they were working on and to get that solidified as well. So that's going to be, I think, a plus positive for the community. Good morning also to Party Smith and Lorraine Pitts. Thank you for tuning in to Wncr-Tv as well. We appreciate you this morning. The way my former job was, we got a raise every year, but our health insurance went up every year. Yeah, rising cost of a lot of things, certainly is that. So looks like I did find out that they did, in fact, vote on 13B. So that is a reality there. What else did we did not solve the idea of whether or not the $10 million statement that Keith Hunter said, but we'll try to find that video for tomorrow, I hope. Or if I do find it, I'll kind of post on the Facebook page, WNCR-TV, throughout the day and let you know what part it is to go look for that. He was about to explain it, but there was no true full detail about that. And we did determine that the 332 bill, as voted on one, now two, and possibly three times today, does still keep the authority of the county commissioners to appoint and fill the vacancies on that particular board by a resolution that they will adopt. The resolution would also, I guess, include that they will be in compliant with the new law that say no elected official will be on that board going forward. Upon the passing of third reading in the House today, that bill will then move over to the Senate and could pass completely upon the third reading in the Senate. So we'll see how that happens. Or it could be modified. It could be modified in the Senate. So anything can happen at those things. Let me see. Yep. So the state of North Carolina, the governor does not sign local bills into law. And so that's what I thought. And so I wanted to, because I made that statement earlier, and I always try to be writing when I'm wrong. I'll let you know that I'm wrong on some things too. And to that point, when I talked about fund balance being the COVID dollars would have been it, those dollars were not allegedly COVID dollars in there, because what I did yesterday, after making such a statement that I believe it could have been COVID dollars, I went back and looked at the past financial audits from 2018 to now. And so in 2018, it says at the end of the current year, the total unassigned fund balance of the general fund was $14,675,000. So this was prior to COVID, 2018. In 2019, the general fund unassigned fund balance was $15,321,000. In 2020, the unassigned fund balance was $16,406,000. In 2021, the unassigned fund balance was $18,918,000. So in 2021, so from 16 to 18, there was about a $2 million increase in unassigned fund balance. Now, remember also how fund balance increases, and that is that monies that were unspent the previous year go into fund balance, and they're then spent later on. So it looks as if they are taking money from fund balance to do projects, but those projects are already authorized in the previous fund balance of situations. And so it does make it difficult when money is then being spent. But it's supposed to be that when money is moving fund balance, whether it was encumbered from previous assignment or not, that council votes on everything that moves from the fund balance account. So there's accuracy there. And so again, I stopped at 2021, I think. So anyway, 2023, the fund balance is $18,890,000, and so now you got a fund balance at $6,522,000. So there's your money. Hey, caller, good morning.
Yes, how are you?
Doing well.
Rocky Mountain Council is doing some crooked stuff, and we need to get our city back together, and that's what we need to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So again, that represents about a $12 million reduction in their fund balance. And so this is what makes it kind of interesting, is I don't know where the COVID money was or where it went. And obviously you can't say it was in fund balance, because the fund balance was, we saw the millions of dollars that were there, and you never seen a gross increase in fund balance amount after the receipt of such dollars, right? Because you don't saw it move up like $2 million, $2 million here, that whatever it is. And so if you got $11 million influx of cash from the federal government or whatever, where was that money housed at? Is a question that I would have. And so if you spent that $10 million and then spent another $12 million, there's $22 million from my calculation. Now they can say, you're wrong, that it was there, but I don't know how it would be there based on the unassigned fund balance, unless it was in, see, here's the thing about government financing too, is you have restricted fund balance. So did they put it in the restricted fund balance account? It's hard to go back and then look at those. So I didn't think about that until just now. Because for a moment it was a restricted use, and then they lightened the use of what it could be. So money and budgeting is very, very interesting. It's very interesting from a municipal standpoint. It's very interesting from a state appropriation and expenditure standpoint. It's interesting from a school board situation, and it's interesting from county government. And so if you don't sit in those meetings and hear the questions asked, because you can't ask the question. I might have a question in the county commissioner meeting or a school board meeting or whatever. Of course, being a regular citizen, you can't just ask the question. And so you don't know the answer. But sometimes I will say that the questions are asked, and so you're able to know what's going on and get a deeper understanding about it. And I will say most of staff at school board level, county commission level, city council level, I don't know about state level. I really hadn't dealt with that like that. But most of the staff there, yes, I have. I have. Yeah, they are more than willing to help you find answers to things, especially when it deals with finances, because the finance laws and rules in North Carolina are just so restrictive and can be punitive by nature too, that they try to help you navigate through those things. So there you go. So fund balance there was a self-generated fund balance. I don't think it had any impact to COVID. So what happened to the $10 million in revenue replacement and the 1 million some change, 1.5, whatever it was, and not even what let's see how much the Rocky might receive from COVID. So the city budget includes the projects. Nope, that ain't it. Oh, they thought I was talking about covert. I got it. I see here. So let's see. $1.5 million for that. Oh, then did they? Yeah, I forgot about the. So then some of that money was also spent for the emergency assistance program too. Was that a separate pot of money? I forgot about that process as well. Yeah, so here it is. Oh no, that's for the transit. So then they received $4 million for some transit money during COVID as well. I forgot all about all that right here. But again, I will say that that was in 2021. COVID social distancing. Anyway, I want to say like $11.5 million, somewhere there about. Let me see why we can't find a thing associated with that. It's giving me all the COVID dollars except for those COVID dollars. Oh, I see. Carla, good morning.
Don't forget the money that Shelley gave us.
Huh? Shelley Willingham. He gave money too.
Oh,
okay. The $8.5 million.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That money, I don't know if they received that money or not. Maybe they have.
They got it. They got it.
They did get it. Okay. So $4 million of that's supposed to go to housing, and what was it? 5 million went, or no, something. Anyway, so many millions went towards the courthouse, and so I think that the purchasing of that land space that you see them acquiring is being spent. That's where that money is coming from, to purchase that land, because it's in conjunction with the construction of a courthouse. But the housing situation, I don't know where they are with that, because some said the amount was built for housing and some said the amount was built for the courthouse.
Right. Well, they'll use it the way they want to. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't see it, but and how did we get to that thought process that council will spend it the way they want to, and the crookedness of council, as one caller just talked about? I don't. I just think sometimes they do things that it's not coordinated with previous thought, and so therefore it sometimes creates uncompleted projects and things of that nature. And I did find it. The city of Rocky Mount is receiving $11,521,180 in federal funding from the American Rescue Program in response to respond to the challenges created by the COVID-19 pandemic. The city council has allocated an expenditure of $6,267,000 of these funds for the following purposes: $1.2 million for COVID premium pay for city employees, $3 million for affordable housing, and $2 million for downtown. Now, I think the $3 million and the $2 million were not, that didn't happen. Okay. The affordable housing and the $2 million for the downtown development, I don't think that happened. And then they were trying to figure out how to spend the other $5.2 million. I think that $10,253,000 collectively was then spent on revenue replacement. And what they do with that. I think that your citizens do have a right to know what they did with that. How was it to the benefit of the community? But that, and when was this? Had to be in 2021, right? 2020. And this was done in 2023, but I know it wasn't that, because anyway. So there you go. It was $11 million, 500 some odd $1,000 is what I thought it was, but I wanted to get that correct number. And I think Ken Hunter said we have somewhere around $570,000 of that money. And so if you're able to derive to that number, they ought to be able to derive from how do they pull from those dollars and where did it go? And how was it to the benefit of the citizens? And did we really spend $22 million? That's a lot of money. For sure. But I do think a lot of it came from property. I said the city been buying a lot of property. Hey, caller, good morning.
Yes, they building a new fire station as we speak up in Raleigh Road. Mm-hmm. But what about the housing area that we need to be, it needs to be done for real.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So where is the money going?
That's
They're
the
not
question.
trying to do anything for Raleigh. And they're not. And I want to know what happened to Angela Bryant, because at that time she wasn't doing nothing for Raleigh.
Angela Bryant went on to the House, and then she went on to the Senate, and then she worked for state government but she's working with redistricting right now. But since then, you know, you had Councilwoman Lois Watkins and now Councilman T.J. Walker, who is represents the Little Riley community.
Okay. But who's representing Little Riley right now?
Councilman T.J. Walker.
So what?
Councilman T.J. Walker.
Oh my God. Oh, okay. I ain't need to go there. Okay.
All right. Thank you much.
I need to talk now.
Okay. Thank you much for watching.
Right, thank you.
And that's going to conclude our time on today on WNT. I don't remember anyone speaking in favor of the increase. Only one person kind of spoke in favor of an increase, saying that everything was kind of increasing, and so it should be okay. But yeah, you're absolutely right. There overwhelming majority of individuals did not speak in favor of increase. As again, even I said no increase, but if you do have to do one, compromise at 2, 4, whatever. But I think that Elton produced a pretty solid budget initially, and with no tax rate increase, able to put some money back, but also understand the need to get the city where it needs to be fund balance wise, so it doesn't create a snowball effect of other issues and concerns going forward, because we do need to go forward and not be dealing with stuff in the rearview mirror if we go ahead and address it as much as we comfortably can in this budget process here. But again, to raise taxes and then to immediately spend the money, yeah, what net benefit is that? I'll see you tomorrow on Wncr-Tv Now to do it all over again. Thank you so much. Don't forget, Pop's Diner, 11 to 6 every day. We got whole wings on sale today, 99-cent whole wings, so come check us out for again between 11 and 6 p.m.
WAJA-LP, Rocky Mount. Another hour of inspiration for the family. We are The Promise 102.5.